I just gave you something.
I know, but what I meant by,
but it doesn't even matter.
That's not what I meant by no writings. I meant there's no writings.
You didn't mean the words you said when you said them?
Yeah, I meant to say there's no writings saying adapt it to be like Catholicism.
That tracks, yeah.
I mean, here's the main thing you have to focus on.
That does not track at all. Okay,
how does that not track at all? Oh, all of the things that are in Samhain existed 500 years prior.
I do agree there's not a centralized Celtic religion, but there definitely was Celtic religion, religious practices, and they were kind of broadly shared. There was a shared set of religious practices among Celtic people, again, just not centralized. And we have archaeological findings to back this, right? We have sanctuaries at, again, going to botch these, Emain, MAGA. We have Gaulish inscriptions to deities like Lugus and Brigid. There's different archaeological findings throughout different periods of history that show a sort of shared set of religious practices, just not centralized, kind of because of the things you're saying. Another thing you kept mentioning, that writings only come from the 19th century. I'll butcher the names again. Real quick for you, the metrical Dainshas, lore of places. This is 8th century.
You said lore of places?
Yeah, that's okay. This is like kind of what they I don't know. But the Tokmark Emir, also 8th century. I had more because I watched your video, so I figured a few of the things that you were kind of going to say. There's, again, gonna botch all of these, right? Saglij Khan Kulan. This is a 9th century writing. It details the Samhain festival as it details a fairy spirit from the other world. We have Ektra Narai. Again, sorry for butchering. This is an 8th century writing where the opening line establishes a Samhain as a night in which the dead rise and boundaries break. So no, this doesn't just come from the 19th century. These come from very, very early ones. And I took a couple of them from these writings, if you want me to like cite them specifically. But then the other thing you said was kind of about, what was it, like the traditions or the customs? I guess you could link them to Christianity. You could just as easily link all of them to Samhain, right? Like bonfires, right? Continuations of the purification fires that were meant to repeal evil spirits in Samhain. Costumes and masks derived from the ancient belief in disguising oneself from the roaming spirits during Samhain. Jack-o'-lanterns are rooted in the Celtic traditions of lighting turnip lanterns to ward off spirits. So like, I mean, if in any point that you could say these are linked to Christianity, you could just say they're linked to Samhain too. So it's like, I think that that's kind of a moot point. I just think that archaeologically, linguistically, and textually, in terms of what we have, there's strong evidence that this predates kind of Christianity.
Yeah. So you said the lore of places. Is that the one you said was Dinshinchas, or what'd you say it was called?
No, there's three. I listed three there. There's the metrical Dinshinchas.
Metrical Dinshinchas.
Yeah.
Okay, Dinshinchas. Okay, that's what I thought.
Then there's lore of places, and there's Tokmark Emir, and then I guess I cited two more down here.
Okay, so I'll be forthright and say that I'm not familiar with these, but having just looked up just the one that I could attempt to spell, because you said lore of places or whatever, metrical Danshan, I'm seeing that it's actually written in the 11th or 12th century, and so what we have is 500 years past.
No. Published in 12th century with writings from the 8th century.
You mean quoting writings?
It's using writings.
Like they're quoting writings from there?
They're taking writings from the 8th century, and it was published one complete work in the 12th century.
Sure. So what I also have is that these are written by Christian monks and clerical poets. And the content is about place names, legends, heroic lore, and that this is a Christian document. And so I'm not even seeing that this is. And so I could be incorrect, but this is what Ronald Hutton...
I have I have the passages. I can just read them for you. The passages in that work that specifically detail Samhain in the way I'm saying. Like I have it right here. Who
is the where are you getting the quotes from? Like where's the citation from? Because
directly from the metrical Dinshinchas.
Like and the actual document. You have the document of it.
I have quotes that I took directly from it, and then I also have one from the Tokmark Emir. So I can cite two from the metrical Dinshinchas, and then I can cite one from the Tokmak Emir. Like for instance,
give me the one
from
from
Samhain till Beltane, the doors of the Cid are closed. The Cid is the other world. From Beltane till Samhain, they are open. For then the spirits wander, and the hosts of Sidhe, that's the other world, move abroad.
Looking it up real quick. But essentially, my understanding from reading Ronald Hutton and whatnot. Okay. So what I'm seeing is that Ronald Hutton talks about the din whatever the lore of what do you call it? The lore of places, and he writes that it has no evidence of Samhain or anything in it, and so does John Carey from UCC. Lore of places is not documentation of pagan rituals.
Okay, Jeffrey.
So I typed in
Gantz, evidence. It is evidence. I mean, there's early Irish myths and sagas published by Penguin Classics saying it's evidence. Like Nicholas Rogers, right here, 2002. All pointing towards this as evidence. So like I can cite scholars too. I don't know who Ronald Hutton is. I would assume like who even is this dude?
A historian. So I looked up that quote from Samhain to Beltane. The doors are closed and the host of the city. Turns out, apparently, this is from Akalam na Sinarak, which is the colloquy of the ancients, which is also a 12th century. So I don't even think it's from that document, which is why I was asking you get that citation from, because I'm seeing that it's not actually from that, and that this is fairy folk mythic stuff that was also written by Christian clerics as poetry. So I'm not seeing this. It was Celtics or anything like that when I Google it. So
yeah,
I don't know.
I have it directly cited from the work, I guess. Also, just to put it out there, Ronald Hutton, religious, don't give any shit what he says about religion. Bias, don't care. don't really care if a religious guy is saying that Halloween is a religious holiday. Had to just look that up to be sure. But yeah, no. So like again, at Samhain, the men of Ulster, where won't be an assembly on the green of Iman Makkah every year, demons would come against them until the coming of Cu Chulainn. No man dared go forth from the fort. For at Samhain, the men of Ulster, wherever won't hold to festival, and demons would attack them in hosts. I have a plethora of quotes from these different writings I've cited from the 8th, 9th, 10th, 11th, 12th centuries, all about Samhain. And even if they did come from the 12th century, what you said is that they came from corrupted works in the 19th century. So you're still off by about 700 years.
What I meant was like the argument, like nobody was saying like, hey, Halloween is pagan until the 19th century. Like nobody made those claims. Like you're not going to find anybody, other historians or anybody else talking about this idea. Well, it does, because it means it was
when
fabricated
people start
by
saying something matters. No.
Yes, because it shows it can help show motivation, which is the motivation to discredit what is clearly
except there's very clear historical and textual evidence.
Well, like I said, it's not so clear because I'm seeing that none of that's accurate. It's all coming from
things from 8th and 9th century writings, but okay.
But they're not 8th, 9th century. They're 12th century.
They are. No, they're writings
12th century.
Documents you're not familiar with that I just researched before we did this. I'm sure you know more about than me. For sure.
Totally Googling it. I'm showing you that that's not what Googling is saying. But John Carey, the Celtic Studies,
from the 8th and 9th
is saying that the
I don't know what
city belongs to post-conversion mythology and is not a documented pagan rite. None of this stuff is written down. You're not going to find a pre-medieval pagan documentation of anything that has anything to do with any of this. It doesn't exist.
I just listed 4, guys. I literally cited 4.
Doesn't exist. Google them for yourselves. You'll see the dates. You'll see that they're written by Christians.
I cited
You'll see that they're not
gave you
pagan.
Guys quotes from them. Like I don't
misquotes.
know. Okay, here, hold on. The metrical. I just looked this up. The metrical dynasty is a collection of poems about the origin of Irish place names and celebrations. Was compiled in the Middle Irish period with the during the 12th with the
12th century.
The first being compiled in the 12th century. However, the poems themselves contain material that date back to the 5th and 6th century. Almost like
how much of the poems? That specific line? That specific line? That specific line?
Yeah, I literally cited multiple from the 8th and 9th century.
No, I know.
You can cherry pick what you want. I gave you.
You're saying those specific lines come from the 8th and 9th century.
No, they're not true because you haven't heard of them. Right.
No, you're saying those specific lines come from the 8th and 9th century. You said that.
Oh, I can cite you a document that comes from the 8th and 9th century that talks specifically about this. The Surgeledge Con Culain, the Etra Narai. both early Irish from the 8th and 9th century. Both talk about Samhain, both talk about it as a festival with dead spirits. It's almost like what you're saying just doesn't pan out in reality. I don't know.
It does pan out in reality because, as I said, we've got it going back to the 300s. So even if you want to say the 500s or the 700s or the 800s, all you're going to get
the backpedal already. Hey, guys, people who are correct about something, backpedal.
I'm not backpedaling. I said 300s in my argument. I said
19th century was the earliest in your argument.
Yes, that's when 19th century is when the argument came that, hey, Halloween is Samhain. That's when that came.
No, you said no writings. There were no writings earlier than the 19th century. I just gave you something.
I know, but what I meant by...
But it doesn't even matter.
That's not what I meant by no writings. I meant there's no writings.
You didn't mean the words you said when you said them?
Yeah, I meant to say there's no writings saying Halloween is pagan before the 19th century. That's what I was talking about. Not that there's no writings about Samhain. Obviously, Samhain existed. We know that.
I'll take the backpedal as a concession.
It's not a backpedal at
But again,
all.
I do want to say, like, if pretending that Halloween comes from Christian,
it's not pretending. So, anyways, trick or treating comes from medieval souling when poor children and people would go up for prayers for the dead. Christian. Costumes, dressing up as saints, Christian, jack-o'-lanterns,
or derived from the ancient
candles,
belief of disguising oneself from the roaming spirits. That's from Samhain, jack-o'-lantern. It's rooted in the Celtic.
It's not from Samhain. Everything we have from Samhain is about it being a harvest festival. You guys can look up the documents. We have all modern historians are against this. Every single one of them. None of them agree with this. The only ones.
Jeffrey Gantz disagrees with you. He is a historian. He disagrees with you. What do you have to say about that? You just said none do. Would you want to backpedal that one too?
Okay, obviously none is.
You say some historians? Yeah, okay.
Yes, yeah. Obviously,
that backpedal also as a concession of my victory.
My goodness.
2 backpedals to 0. I win.
No way.
I backpedaled nothing and he backpedaled twice, so I'm victorious.
Nope. Not victorious, as you try to say. 8th, 9th century, 12th century came hundreds of years after, and we have no attestation of it having anything to do with Halloween whatsoever. Even if I was to concede every single thing about Samhain, all of it having to do with all of that, the fact that it comes 500 years after just shows that, Samhain just wanted to adapt it to be like Catholicism.
That tracks, yeah.
I mean, here's the main thing you have to focus on.
That does not track at all. Okay,
how does that not track at all? All of the things that are in Samhain existed 500 years prior to Samhain. But we just made it up.
What exists?
But if it goes the other way, then it's an argument. That doesn't make any sense.
Wait, so Christians believe in the other world?
Christians believe in purgatory, which is where the souls are.
Okay, that's not the other world, but okay.
Spirits and souls?
What's purgatory?
Purgatory is after you pass away, your soul needs to be purified, and so you pray for those people.
Okay, guys.
Okay, so take that, and during the medieval times, a lot of people postulated it.
Right now, look up what Irish people meant when they talked about the Cid, and compare that to purgatory. And guys, tell us in the comments.
And the Cid is post conversion, so this is after.
And tell us in the comments if they're the same thing. So when we're talking about, they got everything from Christianity.